Here we go, Johnny. Wake up. We got another edition of Less Kevin, More Tech from UTECit.com. Awesome. And here is a lady that's revolutionized all things Ann Arbor. Mm-hmm. She is, I was going to say on par with Amy Sell, but she's reminded me she's way ahead of Amy Sell.
She keeps saying that.
I know. The taunting back and forth.
I know.
These two. You'd think there's a rivalry or something.
Something's going on.
But anyways, we've got a Shero here. And didn't you say Amy's not a Shero yet?
She is going to be a Shero.
She's going to be?
Yes.
Do we have breaking news here?
I hope it's already been announced.
But you were a Shero before Amy, right?
Well, yeah.
All right, flex. Come on, give me a flex. Give me a flex. Yeah. So we have.
I feel like Amy should be here too to defend herself.
No, it's more fun to pick on her when she's not here. So Michelle Crumm, right?
Yeah.
We should introduce Michelle Crumm.
Introduce yourself. Tell us
Okay, so introduce myself. I actually have lived in Ann Arbor for 20 years now. And started a company here with my husband. We ran that company for 10 years.
Yeah, a small little company, right?
Small little company. And sold it. And then I thought, this is perfect. I'll retire. And turning out retiring at 40 sounds great from the FIRE group that all want to do the financial independence, retire early thing. But you get a little bored by the time you're 50. So during COVID, I went back and got my CFP. And became a certified financial planner, and mostly I'm helping women. I ended up getting a lot of divorced women. I think they want to work with another woman when they're doing financial planning. So I am absolutely having a blast doing that now. I have so much fun.
Yes. Well, that retirement thing I knew was not going to last.
Yeah.
You could have if you want to, right?
I sort
Very
of failed
successful
at
company,
retirement.
Adaptive Materials, but yeah, you're one of those people that will fail at retirement.
Yes, I did.
Retirement's kind of like pulling away from life.
Yeah, or just redefining life.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that people that say they want to retire, you have to retire to something.
Yeah.
Usually clean your closets for a while, you take a couple big trips, and then you sit back and say, okay, now what am I going to do? So you get some hobbies, you start doing something else, find some new friends, join a running group, start a second company or a third company in my case.
When I joined the Ann Arbor business community, Michelle was one of the people that everybody was talking about here, and the buzz was all over the place. We used to have newspapers, and you'd read about you in newspapers and publications all the time, right? Yeah,
back in the olden days.
Yes, in the olden days when there were newspapers. Thanks, Kevin.
Right, but Adaptive Materials, but you're an accountant by trade, right?
Yeah.
And you're running a science company.
Yeah, I was a really bad accountant.
How does that happen?
How'd
you get into that?
Yeah, so I really was a bad accountant. I actually had a career-limiting move of wearing pantsuits to the CPA firm, so that's how old I actually am. I ended up marrying somebody that my mother was convinced might not ever work, because the first 5 years he was getting his PhD at University of Michigan. And then he said, okay, after all that time you've been so patient, I want to start a company. I'm like, yeah, we're used to just living off my salary anyway. I was working at Kellogg's cereal company at the time. And so he said he wanted to start the company, and I thought this was cute. Do your little hobby for a year or two and then go be a professor like all other PhDs do. Then it started to really take off and do well, and at the same time, our family was growing. We had our first daughter, Isabel, the same time the company turned 1. Mm-hmm. Then we had Evelyn 19 months later, and then we had Philip. So the time we had the company growing, the family was growing, and something had to give. So by the time Evelyn came around, I quit Kellogg, a job has income, to go start a company where we had no income, no money, and a mortgage. So it was a great idea. When you don't have anything, you don't have anything to lose. So it was really the perfect time to do this. So we started the company up, and we figured the greatest part about our marriage is that we have very different skill sets. If you meet him, he's serious and he's intense and brilliant, and I was kind of the Energizer bunny, and just very different personalities, very different strengths. I had more of the business side, he had the engineering side, so we were able to put a lot of skills together with just 2 people, and And then we built the company up. So we had a lot of government contracts. We had, I did my own lobbying. I bought a lobbying book for dummies. I'm not even joking. Like, how hard is it? You go in and you talk to politicians and you tell them why your company needs money. So just figured out a lot of stuff on our own. We just didn't know better. And we couldn't afford to do anything any differently. So we just grew the company ourselves and team. I mean, it really wasn't truly ourselves. We had some incredible people that are actually all entrepreneurs now. Most of our leadership team all has spawned their own entrepreneurial ventures, which is super cool. Like, we definitely are really proud of that. So it's very fun.
Nice.
And then in 2010, a lot of factors were changing in the world. AIG had tanked. There's a lot of economic problems in 2008. Obama had just become president, and we felt like there was a change in kind of the war situation. So we could see that government contracts were going to be more challenging. And so scaling up meant that we had to figure out an exit strategy. So we could either grow private equity. Bank financing really wasn't an option at that time. So we ended up getting an offer and sold to Ultra Electronics out in the UK. So that could be another whole podcast in itself.
Wow. Well,
But
we'll have to-
anyway,
We're
so
going to hold her to it.
Yeah, we will.
that's a whole different story. But yeah, so we ended up selling, and it was an all-cash deal, and then we got out. Aaron actually had golden handcuffs for about 2 years, so he had to stay on for 2 years. They were ready to get rid of me, so they didn't have one single woman on their leadership team, so I don't think they would have known what to do with me anyway.
Right.
So
Yeah,
it's
okay.
actually fine with me.
Their loss.
It was, yeah. So that's kind of how we got through all that for 10 years.
That's awesome. What's a Shero?
What is a Shero, Kevin? You know this.
It's a women's group tightly connected with Washtenaw Community Foundation, and they promote women that are successful in business, active in the community, and giving back and leading from a front. So
Got it.
Is that
correct?
That's
Is that
pretty.
fair?
Yeah, that's pretty fair. I had gone to that event for probably a decade and saw the speakers and saw the people that were awarded, and thought these people are just absolutely incredible. I mean, just amazing people in the community. And so Lynette Finley actually nominated me, and she said, "You won the Shero Award." And so it was spectacular. It's a great event. It's for a good cause. They give
You have to wear a
lot.
special costume or
I
anything?
didn't, but that would be fun. Maybe we'll do that for the next
A
round
cape?
of people.
wear a
Cape.
cape.
Well, you know what? They got the secret handshake they do up there.
Oh,
you
I
know
got
what
it.
I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody's got
Yeah.
their walk-up song,
Right.
and they do this secret handshake.
Yeah, we have our music that we that would be cool. And so it was just a real honor. The people that have all been awarded it are just people that I've always admired and respected.
That's
so this was
fantastic.
really just a special.
Do you feel
award. So-
admired and respected?
Oh, by my dog. On certain days, my kids. I don't know. I don't think about that. I don't know.
It's a hard thing because people who are very successful, they tend to have people that they're looking at and emulating and that are meaningful to them. But sometimes it's hard to bridge the fact that, hey, maybe I am that way for other people.
Yeah.
So it's a self-esteem thing.
We have about 17, 18 people listen to us on a good day.
When did we
So,
have that many? When did it-
So I'll do a really good job for you then.
in case any of them are listening
Yeah.
to this podcast, what's the women's group? I feel I'm drawing a blank here. I know it's with WCC. They do a phenomenal job.
Yep. So it's the Women's Council.
Women's Council, thank
And
you.
they raise money for the scholarship fund. And a significant percentage of Washtenaw Community College students get scholarship money. And this is, I was also at Eastern for a while doing some work there. And, the interesting part is that so many students in our community are a flat tire away from dropping out of school. And so being able to walk in and get an immediate scholarship to pay rent, pay an insurance, some insurance for their car for a flat tire, just having a gift card to get food. These things are the difference between them getting the education and not getting the education. So it's a really big deal to have these kinds of funds available. And so that's what the Women's Council does. And so I'm not actually on the Women's Council. I'm on the foundation board with Kevin, but that's what they do, and that's why this event is so important. So they use this, and they recognize women, but it's really to raise money for scholarships, which is, the best.
So we saw this, and I'm looking at some of the past award winners, and it's just amazing the talent and the great people have done it. And then we saw Michelle. So we had a table last year because we had to go cheer Michelle on and see this. But and then I forget the lady that spoke, but the astronaut lady.
She was amazing.
That's wow. You know what I mean?
Yeah. She had done extremely well in her career, and she actually went to the moon, right? Or
Yeah.
went into space.
She's
I forget.
going,
She was going to the moon.
WCC grad, and she's running like $1 billion company. You know, all kinds of entrepreneur awards for something like that. And she is going to be on SpaceX, I think, or one of the ones, and she's going to fly the flag for WCC. So it's a great deal and neat stuff.
Super spectacular. It's awesome. So when you become a Shero, do you have anything that you have to do, like community events or?
No, it's not like Miss America or anything. No.
She's at a parade.
You know, sit on the back.
I had to learn the secret handshake and the special wave. And no, I'm just kidding. No, we just we give a speech. Yeah. And I mean, the goal is to bring people to the event and get them to buy a table so that you're raising money and then continue to support.
Do you ever bring students into that event?
Oh, there's a lot of students.
A lot of students there? That's
there's
awesome.
a lot there. I would say maybe half of the tables are students. I don't know.
Wow, that's spectacular because then they can hopefully catch the vision.
Yeah, right.
Oh, it's at the Lawrence building there on campus, and I mean, we've been there for a lot of different civic events and events. You know, the chambers, the different stuff that are held there. This thing was packed for this women's council, was it not? It was just jacked up with people there, excited to see these people, and it was really cool.
It was very cool.
That is cool. I am never been this close to a Shero before, so.
First time for everything.
Yep, gotta drink my coffee.
Just drink your coffee.
What do you got going on now? You've hit these heights, right? You keep hitting another one and another one. So what's your vision?
I really love doing this financial planning.
Yeah.
I've been writing a lot of articles for different newspapers. That's probably not the right way to say it. Get them
Media
old.
outlets.
Media outlets.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for making me cool. And so I ended up in this article called Gray Divorce in USA Today, and it was a week or so ago, and I received a lot of new client hits from that. Yeah. And so I ended up so many women need help with financial planning. And
can you stop for just a second?
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to go back on that gray divorce because I heard that term last week the first time, so maybe it was related to your article. I was just mystified at how people have gone through life, raised their children, gotten through their careers, and all of a sudden they get a divorce.
Right.
I could see why my wife would do it. I mean, but I don't. I mean, it just. I'm thinking, as you go through all these trials and tribulations in life, you should be kind of melding closer together.
Yeah.
As opposed to apart.
Right. Yeah, and it's
like pouring water in a cup.
Yeah.
It just eventually runs over. You and I are like this right now.
Yeah. You could just be careful. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really big deal, and so I think the attraction for them to talk to me is that I'm in my 50s and these are women in their 50s. And so the challenge is exactly as you said. They have stayed home. They've raised their kids. They've most likely, if they've had a financial planner, it's been the husband's friend that's the financial planner or the financial planner's a guy, and which is fine. It's just been they've been communicated to and mansplained to, and they don't really feel like they can ask questions about.
So I learned the word Shero today, and now mansplained.
Mansplain's a big women know what mansplained is. I could tell you that.
Sounds to me like a sports injury.
It is.
Towards mansplained.
When you're listening to it, it feels like a sports injury. So, and I think it's just one of those things where they want someone to talk to that they can trust. They want somebody that they can say, I don't understand this, explain it to me. And I want them to partner with me in the education and helping them learn about their money. I would love to talk to them even before the divorce because I think a lot of women lose a lot of they just don't know how to even negotiate their divorce, and it is a negotiation. And so it's a big deal to try to get them back on track. They're trying to go into the workforce after taking a lot of time off, so their earning power is a lot less. The alimony is only going to take them so far. Child support's only going to help until the kids turn 18 or get through college. So there's a lot of work to be done in that decade. If they're kind of early 50s and getting divorced, they have 10 to 15 years that they have to try to figure out how to fill those buckets back up.
Is that something I could interrupt? If you were giving advice to folks, would you tell them whether they see a divorce coming on the horizon or not, but somebody in their 40s or 50s, they should have their own financial planner almost like that? Would that make sense for somebody to have that in place?
Yeah, they for sure should have a financial planner, but hopefully they jointly have a financial planner that they both want to work with and trust. I don't like to work with one, not the other. Several women do have separate finances. I have women that are married too. I don't just work with divorced women. And so the women that are married, the ones that I seem to attract as clients they don't share finances with their spouse. And so that has its own set of complications when it comes to estate planning and retirement planning and Social Security and things like and taxes. So there's challenges both ways. So I don't recommend that people get two different financial planners, one for a man and one for a woman. But I do wish that we had a better way of communicating and just, I guess, more ethical on the divorce piece of it, because there's just a lot of challenges that they face. And especially like if the husband has a business, there's a lot of ways to hide the true value of the business. And so if they don't know to hire a forensic accountant. So I think one of the reasons that I can see the bigger picture is because I was a really bad CPA. Remember I said I was a CPA a long time ago and hated it. But that CPA knowledge and being able to do audits and forensic accounting, that helps understand like, okay, here's where there's probably some money that you've given up, and so we should talk about that. But at the end of the day, I just kind of take them wherever they're at, and we just try to rebuild going forward. We're not looking backwards and saying, "Oh, you shoulda." But
it sounds like for you personally, you've kind of got a vision of ideal client, ideal services, right?
Yep.
And that's where you're taking your stage in your career now.
Yeah, for sure. I don't take as many clients as I do, prospects as I do. If they call and within 15 minutes, I know that I'm not going to be able to serve them well. They're not my person. If a woman calls and she's like, "Oh, my husband just handles it. Thank God, I don't want to do it at all." That's not my client. There's a ton of financial planners that will be happy to help them. I want women that are totally part of the process. Yeah. They're engaged. They want to learn. They want to understand it. I'm fee only. I don't like fee-based planners, so that's probably more breaking news out there that fee-based planners won't like. But I don't like planners that charge a percentage of assets in perpetuity. I just don't think that's the right model anymore. I wish that model would die. I wish that people actually had to write the check for that amount of money that they're giving up as a percentage of their portfolio. I think a lot of people then would move over to a fee-only planner. So I want women that are totally engaged and understand exactly where their money is going, even their money that's going to me. It's got to be worth writing that check to me every month, or they shouldn't work for me.
So how did you get the article in USA Today?
I'm part of Financial Planning Association and, CFP board, and they send out links to say,
she's a Shero, dude.
I know that.
Everything she does goes
I have a
right
cape.
to the top.
There's no cape. They send out,
There's no cape?
There's no cape.
Damn it.
That would be cool.
It would be. Yeah.
I think we're going to add Shero capes.
It's going right now.
I know I can see Kevin's wheels turning. He's figuring out where to make it.
I think Amy.
Yeah, Amy with the afraid in a cape. Yes, I'm not sure where I was going.
I want to know how you got into the USA Today. I mean,
today, yeah, because they just send out
prestigious, right?
Yeah, well, and whilst I was just on the buy side for Wall Street Journal and several. I mean, it's not hard. They send out a link every morning and they say, "Hey, they need financial planners to comment on, and here's the story." And then I look at them, and if I want to comment on them, I'll respond back to the writer and say, "Hey, here's my idea." They just did one for emergency funds for people, and that one I love, and Roth IRAs for young people. Oh my gosh, I get so excited about this. Yeah. Roth IRAs and young people nothing gets me more excited than that. Tax-free money forever. So, I could go on and on about this stuff.
Let me ask you about that, though. We were just discussing this with somebody else. Do you see that staying tax-free?
Oh, my gosh, probably not, because it's the sweetest deal ever. I don't know. I mean, my kids, as soon as I try to, hopefully they make $6,000 or this year $7,000. If they have earned income of $7,000, they can get a Roth IRA. They put that money in, and then it's forever tax-free. And so, if they just did that for 10 years.
Do you know how long forever lasts?
Oh, I don't know.
Till the government says so.
Till the government says so. Well, they would have to, they wouldn't be able to claw it back, and hopefully they wouldn't be able to claw it back. Don't give me that long. I am way too excited about Roth IRAs. Do not make me feel sad about this. Yeah, don't pop that balloon. But then forever, this could be, 10 years they put money in, and then they'd have $1.8 million by the time they're 60 if they didn't do anything else. Right. So it's a huge amount of money and all tax-free. So I love Roth IRAs, especially for people in their 20s.
So you're getting national acclaim is what's happening.
Oh.
Right? Yeah, I'm coming back
That might be a stretch, but yeah.
No. Well, Wall Street Journal's not a stretch.
Yeah,
USA Today's not a stretch, right? And you've got a history of, success. So knowing that, you're not hanging a shingle out on a
Right.
house helping people walking by, right?
Right.
You got bigger ideas.
Well, yeah, but I do want to, I love my retirement. I love my travel. I like to have control of my time to come here and talk to you guys today. So I have a target number of clients that I want each year. And so I'm not trying to make this big. I'm trying to make it meaningful. And so that's why I'm very selective about the clients I want to work with. And each one of them, one person, a guy, told me that he's like, you don't ever want to work with your friends. You know, that would be a terrible idea when I was first getting started. And I said, oh, actually, that I absolutely do want to work with. I want to work with people that would be my friends. Like he actually just really inspired me to say, no, I really do want to work with people that maybe aren't my friends yet, but they would be my friends. Okay. You know, I want them to trust me. I want to trust them. I want this to be a relationship. So, and I don't want it to be big. I want it to, just like I said, be meaningful. So I have, you know, hopefully a few each year.
I think you're going to have a hard time with that. Because I think when somebody, the people that I've met, when people are passionate and they're engaged in meaningful pursuits, they tend to want to help more people, right?
Right.
And just like the sports person that runs wants to run faster, you know, it's just a natural internal thing.
Yeah.
So I think you're going to have a hard time constraining it is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, you might be right, except for I put some buffers in place, meaning some good friends, friends that we've already talked about here. And, you know, just to make sure that I can contain my enthusiasm so that I don't grow too big. I don't want to hire an employee to do this. There's a lot of compliance when you're a financial planner. So I wanted to be able to do this myself, which means that I can only grow as big as the amount of time I want to spend on it. So
cool.
I hopefully won't go too crazy.
So where do you see technology
famous last words
in all this world?
Well, hopefully a lot more people will be using it. There's a lot of robo-advisors that I think can really help younger people that don't have a lot of assets to invest yet. One client that just came to me, she, you know, kind of had her head down, oh, I have a Robinhood account. I'm like, that's great. Like, put $5,000 in it, play with it. Let it be how you learn about the stock market going up and down on your Ford stock or your GM stock or your Amazon stock, whatever. So I like that approach. It's kind of like gambling in Vegas. So just go for it, play with it, learn. And then let's put your real assets into just index funds. I'm a super boring passive index fund investor. I think that's the tried and true way to go. I don't believe in active management portfolios, so they're not going to hear any like
buy,
Bitcoin this or whatever. Here's my new, you know, stock tip. They're not going to get any.
So
of that
there
from
is
me.
no truth to the rumor that you're going to make your own Bitcoin with your face on it.
No, I don't even know what Bitcoin is. Actually, no, I would not do that.
The Crumm coin.
The Crumm coin. It'd be a crummy coin is what it would be. Yeah, our name does not work well with a lot of companies. So when I was trying to come up with a name for my company, Crummy Financial Planning just sounds terrible, right? So I ended up with Belle Eve Financial after my two daughters, and I wanted it to sound feminine. So that's how I came up with the name of the company.
I grew up with a kid named Randy Payne, and he became a dentist.
Oh, perfect. I do love it when people end up that way. Yeah. Yes, I like that.
I like the name of the company. I think it's cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like it. It was just kind of one of those things I was sitting around trying to figure out how to come up with something that sounded feminine, and that kind of came together. Isabel and Evelyn are my daughters. So.
Yeah.
And it means beautiful evening, you know, for retirement, sunset, whatever. So.
Wow, so you can
a lot of play on it. A lot of play. Well, and I was really into Ted Lasso at the time, and believe, Belle Eve, you know, believe. So I kind of like that I can play off that too. So.
See, she's smart and strategic.
Yeah. We just practice strategery here.
Strategery. That's a good thing. That's good.
So what else you do with your time? What's Erin doing? What are you guys doing?
Okay, so
travel, financial planning.
We're renovating a house together, and
I thought you guys
to renovate a house or run a company.
Oh
together?
God, much harder to renovate a house. We're doing fine together. He's much more into the details than I am, thank God. And so we're renovating this house, and it takes a ton of time. And then we're trying to figure out when we sell our existing house so we can move into this renovated house. And so I was filling out.
So you're not living in it while you're renovating? Because that would create.
We did that already.
You would become the ideal client because typically that predates a
the
divorce. Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we've done that many times together, so we're not doing that. However, we've got our realtor who she's chomping at the bit. She wants to sell her house. And I don't know when to sell the house, so I'm trying to figure out, when is this renovation going to be done? Everybody says they take longer than you think, blah, blah, blah. So I'm filling out my form to go to a doctor's appointment earlier, and they always ask the social questions on there. And one of the questions was, do you feel housing insecure? And I'm like, I kind of do right now. I really don't know when we're going to move or what we're going to do. So right now we have 2 houses, and one of them literally has dirt for the floor, and the other one is the one we're living in.
So when you answer that social, I know what you're talking about, right? What are you thinking when because I'm looking at this thing going.
This is a whole nother podcast.
This is a whole other podcast. So we're starting.
I filled it out. I was man, I'm not. Jesus.
Yeah.
And then you get to the bottom. It says, "Do you drink alcohol?"
Oh yeah.
And then underneath, how many? I'm like, shoot.
There's no one that's going to check your answer.
Yeah, I'm just like, man, all of them.
Well, for my physical here this fall, the lady wanted to answer all those questions. And I said, we're not going to do that. Just put no for everything. And she said, I got to ask you one by one. I said, well, if you go through that, I'm going to start answering them. And the doctor's going to have to come and explain some of these answers and have to do some more work. So can we just go right past that? And she looked and saw us serious, so I went right past it.
Well, you do it online now.
Yeah,
you just do it online. So I was doing it online, and I'm like, housing insecure.
And then Kevin said she just smiled and put the glove on.
Yeah. Hey, guess who's going to win this one?
Nice. That's why you don't piss them off.
Oh, boy.
Another day.
Man, we apologize.
No worries.
Sounds like bright futures and everything.
Yeah.
So I went to your website, and I saw the picture of your family, lovely family.
Thank you.
And you guys do a lot together, it sounds like.
We do.
Yeah.
I think the key to success is you book vacations the kids want to go to, and then they'll still hang out with you even when they go to college.
Nice. So they're always with you then on your trips and travels?
Not always, but
Many times you can.
Yeah, we had this goal before Isabel turned 16 that we wanted to see all 50 states.
There's no room for you and Julie.
There's no. Well, you can totally come. I love it when people come.
No, because then I got to bring 3 boys, and then it's...
Yeah. Wait, how old are they?
Well, they're all... one's 20, 24, and 26
Oh,
now,
they'll blend right with all the Crummy kids. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
well...
no big deal. Yeah.
Like I always say, they before I let them out of the house, they know how to drywall.
Yeah.
They know basic electric, and they can cook. So.
Bazooka, we just did this, brother. We got 100% title here. True Crummy podcast. Well, you know what, Les? If we're smart.
Yes. Well, hold on a second.
Yeah, I said if.
Yeah, I'm glad we threw that in there.
We could probably be respectful for time.
Yes. Oh, that's.
And we could let her go, and we leave some stuff where she has to come back and do this with us again.
That was awesome. I'd like to hear more about your future ventures because it sounds fascinating.
Lots of fun.
I told you, dynamo, right?
Well, I mean, you're passionately engaged in an identified target, if you will, market.
Yeah.
So you just got to roll, right?
Because he has very high standards. He's like, who's this chick? I've never heard of her. You know what I mean? I said, hey,
Seriously.
Dynamo. He's like, I don't know
We're
about
at the bottom of the barrel here. Shero. That's right.
We want to find you. It's Belle Eve
Belle Eve Financial.
Financial.
Yep.
Actually, if we want to find you, just got to pick up a USA Today, go to
Oh,
Wall Street
there you go.
Journal.
Oh my gosh.
CNBC.
I'm coming back just because you guys made me feel really good. This is awesome.
We have a habit of making all our guests look really good.
Oh, thank goodness. Yeah. That's why they come back.
Well, no, compared to us. It's kind of super simple.
Low bar, remember? Low bar?
Yeah.
All 17 people.
So we'd like to know, what's your favorite bourbon?
I'm not the biggest bourbon drinker. However, I just went to Scotland and tried a lot of whiskeys.
Really?
So, yeah, we ended up touring and doing a lot of whiskey tasting in Scotland, which was...
They talk about the history? Because
Oh, yeah.
So there's supposed to be something different with the whiskey there, how you spell it versus here, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I probably was drinking too much to pay attention to the details.
Yes, nice.
She doesn't care what's in her hands as long as you put
It's
two
just
of them
like
in
two,
there.
one of
She's
each.
two-fisted,
Yeah.
And then Aaron's filling them up.
No, now he does like whiskeys, bourbon. I mean,
Thank you. We appreciate your time.
Thank
and
you.
continued success.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
And best of luck on the rest of those adventures.
Yes,
right.
sounds
Thank you.
fascinating.
May you swim with sea lions.
Not okay.